What up, good people? This is Coach Evans. Welcome back to Sip and Taylor Films, and today giving you another lunch break classroom video. Got a lot of stuff going on, so I just had to squeeze this in, at the best opportunity that I had. Today's video, if you can notice by what you saw by the thumbnail, is about Julio Jones. Julio. All this talk about Julio Jones and coming to the Ravens and how, how he would change the dynamic of the team and things like that. But let's go down this Julio rabbit hole for a minute, and you can kind of get my thoughts on how I feel about Julio, becoming a Raven. First off, when I was doing a little research on Julio, go look up his real name. Just go look up his real name, and I was amazed that, it's not Julio. But anyway, and he's from Foley, Alabama, which, I passed through that neck of the woods a lot, headed home to Mississippi. I stop at the Buc-ee's right there at that Foley exit a lot of times. Buc-ee's one of my favorite stores. Get that pulled pork sandwich or that turkey sandwich. Just some good eating right there. You got a Buc-ee's close to you, make sure you visit. And they didn't sponsor this, but I just like Buc-ee's. But Atlanta's asking for a first-round pick. Julio at 32, first-round pick. Nah, I don't think so. Nah. We can talk about second, but, definitely third, fourth, like a package, maybe a second and a sixth or something like that, or a third and fourth or something, maybe a pick this year and a pick next year. No first, man, not for Julio, not for what we do. And I'm gonna kind of give you my reason why we shouldn't give up a first for Julio. All right, let's talk about his stats. Julio's played 135 games total. He has 1,320 targets for 848 catches. That's a 64% completion rate, which is not bad. That's that's pretty good. More than half the time I throw it to you, you catch it and potentially do something with it. The big stat is total. He has 12,896 yards, 60 touchdowns, but that yardage puts him 20th on the all-time list. But it's a full 10,000 yards behind the GOAT, Jerry Rice. A full 10,000 yards behind the GOAT, Jerry Rice. As far as Julio's durability, people have been questioning him being hurt as of late. He's played 10 seasons. He's played in 13 or more games in 8 of those 10 seasons. Last year he played in 9 maybe, and maybe like his third year he played in 5. But for the most part, Julio plays ball, for the most part. Last year, he had 51 catches for 771 yards and 3 TDs. So if you take those numbers and put them on the Ravens, he would have been third on the team in catches. Hollywood and Andrews had 58 apiece. So they would have been tied for first. Julio would have been second with 51. But his 771 yards would have been first on the team, which is crazy. He only played 9 games. Just from, if I remember my research correctly, Hollywood had 58 catches on 100 targets, so that's 58% catch rate for him. And Andrews had 58 catches on, I think, 88 targets. I don't know that number off the top of my head as far as the percentage-wise, but still, just in the range so you can get an idea of what's going on. And those are the numbers part of it. So now I'm going to quickly give you why I don't think we should give up a first for Julio or give up a lot of collateral at all for him. If not, just don't bother with getting it. First of all, let me say this. Julio is far better than any receiver. Like, if he was on the team today, he'd be the best receiver by far, hands down. I'm not knocking Julio. Julio's one of the best receivers I've seen play, like, ever, with his size, his speed, his tenacity, his ball skills, his disrespectful catches on people. Julio's a dog. Don't take what I'm going to say after this as like I'm crapping on Julio, because I'm not. But let's think about it. And I don't need these notes for the rest of this. Think about, and I was talking about this in group chat. Think about the route combos we have with the Ravens. Some people call it elementary, and it probably looks elementary from the naked eye, but me being in the field, what you see from the stands and on TV is not necessarily what's supposed to be going on the field, and you can get a biased look as into what what's going on, and you don't really know. Like, it's just some people think, like, with Lamar handing the ball off to J.K., some people think that's the same play just because he's in the shotgun handing it off to J.K. There are some folks out there that think that is the same play, whether it be power, bash, inside zone, outside zone, midline. They think just because Lamar's in the shotgun, he hands off to the running back, that's the same play, but it's not. Oh, but I digress. We're going to Julio. The route combos, the same routes that Boykin, the same routes that Hollywood run, the same routes that Snead run. They're just going to have Julio run those same routes. Now, he's probably going to run them better. Like in a video I did, today's Tuesday, so I did it Sunday maybe, and Boykin just got handled at the line in the Bills game. Now, that probably won't happen, but the combos will still be the same. And maybe with Julio being out there, Lamar will just give him some more 50-50 opportunities. But the scheme is not going to change because Julio's on the Ravens team. We're not going to all of a sudden be this spread team that throw it around and Lamar throw for 5,000 yards and because Julio's on the team. Granted, if Julio was on the team, the biggest beneficiary of Julio being on the team is probably going to be J.K. Dobbins. So if Julio did, by whatever means, come to the Ravens, and I don't advocate giving a bunch of draft capital up for him, the biggest recipient of him being on the team is going to be J.K. Dobbins, because you're going to have to respect his game, and one guy not going to do it. One guy not going to do it. Now, him being on the team would be great. It would be, I definitely think we'd be in the running for Super Bowl. And I don't think we're far off now with what we got. But execution is going to be way more important without Julio than with Julio. Because Julio can make up for poor execution in certain areas because he can win jump balls, which, is just a gamble in my part. It's 50-50. But back to those combos. Curl flat, we still gonna do that. We still gonna run the little spacing routes and do different things, and we're not gonna change the system because Julio's there. And by getting Julio, we'll mess up the future of the organization to a certain extent because this contract is redonkulous. That's the biggest thing. I'm all for Julio the player being on the Ravens team, but I'm not for Julio the contract being on the Ravens team. So that's the long and short of this. Julio the player is awesome. He'd be a great fit. He'd be able to blow the top off of coverages alongside with Hollywood on the other side, and you'd have Andrews would have unlimited room in the middle of the field. The running game would probably, people probably would complain more because we would run it more because it'd be easier to run because Julio's on the team. Not even thinking about that initially, because you got to have a corner and a safety to respect him. And then if Hollywood just, catch some deep balls, you got to have two safeties to respect his speed on the other side. So that means Andrews getting one-on-one opportunities, and the run game should be nuts. So I know people complain saying we run too much, but you put Julio on this team, we probably run more because it's going to be easier. But just giving you something to think about. This is my 2 cents on it. This is my perspective about Julio being on the team. And so granted, if they pull the trigger, I'd root for them, and I'd be happy for us as an organization to go try to get that championship. But I don't think it would be, because we always think finances to go along with personnel, I don't think it's going to happen. I would love for it to happen, but I don't think it was going to happen. And so with that being said, it's probably going to happen just because I'm wrong. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in for the lunch break vid, and I appreciate the support. Got my little package yesterday. Hadn't had a chance to kind of work with it at home, but I appreciate everybody that's supporting the Patreon, the PayPal, the Cash App, and here in the Super Chats and whatnot. I thank you guys, man. This is Coach Evans from Sip Salad Films. Another video ending, Julio. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I'll see you next time. Peace.